Hi there. So we're going to introduce some fingerstyle type of approaches to the ukulele. Fingerstyle or finger picking is a very useful way to develop your ukulele playing beyond the usual sort of strumming away with songs, and in fact can be very, very effective in accompanying yourself with a ballad type of song or something that requires a little bit more subtlety than just the basic strum. It's also a way in which you can gradually begin to develop your ability to play what they call chord melody playing, which is using the chord within a finger picking pattern so that you can then begin to pick out the actual tune of the song or the tune. Now, what I want to do first of all is just to introduce you to what we might call the classical way of fingering. And here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assign the thumb always to that top string, or that string there, the G string, okay? Then it's going to be first finger there, second finger there, and third finger on that one, okay? So you always assign it, never changes, you never stray with your thumb across there, you never stray with your first finger or anything. It's always thumb, first, second, third. That is the classical way of playing, and it's an idea to stick to that for what we're just about to do now. We may change it later, but for now this will be the most common manner in which you hold down the strings. Okay, good idea is to put your thumb first, second, third like that, just rested on top of the strings to begin with, and then do this. Okay, now what I've done there is I've plucked it, plucked down with the thumb, up with the first finger, up with the second, up with the third. So I'm doing like that, okay? And then having got that, and notice that's a pluck, it's not a strum, you're not doing anything like, pulling the hand out or anything, it's just literally the movement of the fingers. Not straying very far away from the string so that I can get back quickly to it. You can apply that with a chord. C chord there. In fact, I'll move from a C chord to an F chord and then a G7th. Okay, remembering that what I'm counting here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm in 4/4 time. Okay, that's really just to get yourself used to the idea of independently plucking those strings. Okay, now the first pattern we've got in the book is actually one step further than that. It's still a 4/4 time, but we're doing thumb first, two together, and back to the first. So it's this. Now notice, when you're plucking two together, you are literally still plucking them, you're not strumming it. It's two together plucked. So you've got to place your fingers on top of the string first of all, then pluck like that. Get used to the idea of plucking two at the same time. And then go around the chords again. Now the beauty of this particular pattern is that you can also do it syncopated. By syncopated I mean the rhythm changes, but the actual fingering doesn't change at all. It's exactly the same pattern. So this is what I call a sort of ballad form, but this is the syncopated. So we're doing doing exactly the same pattern but different rhythm, the rhythm of course being established by the fingers. Okay, so there's your first pattern. Your second pattern is just a half strum, you could call it, which is exactly the same. Instead of doing this, I'll go back to the regular ballad form. I'm now going to half strum it by doing thumb first, down up with the first finger. Okay, so now we're doing that with the change of chords. Okay. Now you can actually do that syncopated as well. You see how different that is already from perhaps what you're used to, which is just strumming. So it gives a kind of a slightly more subtle sound. Again, very suitable for accompanying a song. Okay, so that's the 4/4 pattern. Now what about 3/4? Well, it's exactly the same principle. What we're going to do with 3/4 is we'll use the same pattern, but on this occasion we're still going to do the double 1 and 2 and, because that's how you're counting it, 1 and 2 and, but I've got to do an extra one now because it's 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So see, 1 and 2 and 3 and. So it's actually just a repeat of the thumb and first. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. If you play it really slowly, it's okay, but sometimes it sounds more effective if you're doing it a bit faster. Okay. By the same token, you can also do strums on a 3/4. So here it would be 1 and, but again you've got that extra one, so you've got to do an extra down up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Of course, you could also do just one of the down up strums and then go back to the thumb and first finger, so you could have like this. Oh dear, I messed it up. Start again. Okay. But I probably would, I'd say the down up with the strum at the end is probably the best one to do, really. Okay. So there's the beginnings of a finger picking. Now, of course, there are lots and lots of other finger picking patterns that you can do here. I would First of all, I mean, I've been doing in the key of C major here, C, F and G sevenths. Swap your keys around a little bit. You know, for example, why not play it in A? There's another easy key for us. We've got A, followed by D, followed by E seventh, followed by A. The 1, 4, 5 chords in A major. Or in our 4/4 time. Okay, try several keys so that you just get used to the idea of swapping the chords around. Remember always, of course, that the chord is going to change on the first beat of the bar. So if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll always be on number 1. It'll be on number 1 on 3, 4 as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You know. So try it in a few keys just so that you get the idea. The only thing what will happen is that it will expose any hesitation you have in changing the chord because you're now dealing with individual strings here. One thing you will notice is that the thumb, which is always the first on the first beat, is always going to be on that string, remember. So whenever you're changing chords, say for example if you're going from C, in slow motion, if I was doing it in slow motion, it would be, put that finger down first because that's the first one you're plucking. It doesn't matter if that one's fractionally later to put down to getting from the C to the F. The important thing is to go from the C to the F, make sure that one's down first because that's the first one you're going to hit on the first beat. There it is. If you were late, it would be, you see? Then you can hear the lateness. And it will be the same for any chord really. Just watch out for which one you're plucking first. It will always be that one anyway. On these patterns, it'll always be the thumb. So if there is a note on that G string that's going to be within the something in the chord where you have to press the G string down, make sure you get there first. Okay. Good.